in a realm where spirits, demons, and immortals quietly shape destiny from the shadows. A fragile and seemingly insignificant clam spirit boy named Bang Tin lives at the very bottom of the spiritual hierarchy, soft, forgetful, and underestimated, yet secretly carrying the dormant power of an ancient chaotic pearl, lineage that awakens through his emotions. When fate entangles him with powerful figures, his life takes a dramatic turn. First, Ko Thua Yuyan, the noble crown prince of the human clan, elegant and distant yet impossible to ignore. Then Van Triet, a cold and calculating immortal lord whose presence feels like winter itself, followed by Lam So Ma, the seductive and dangerous demon king of the demon clan, whose charm hides unpredictable intentions, and finally Desat, the ruthless ruler of the demon realm, feared by all for his overwhelming power. What begins as a mysterious system mission to get close to Ko Thua Yuyan quickly spirals into a chaotic web of emotions, where Bang Tin must navigate affection, manipulation, and survival, while a strange inner voice rewards him for every moment of closeness, even as his heart struggles to understand what is real and what is merely part of the game. As the night deepens, Bang Tin finds himself trapped in a moment he cannot fully understand, his body trembling, his cheeks flushed, and his mind overwhelmed as Ko Thua Yuyan suddenly pulls him close, their distance vanishing in an instant under the excuse of removing poison. Yet the act feels far more intimate than necessary, leaving Bang Tin breathless and confused as his heart races uncontrollably. The world seems to blur as warmth spreads through him, and even after it ends, he can barely process what just happened, while Ko Thua Yuyan, calm and composed on the surface, hides a subtle intensity behind his gaze, as if this was only the beginning of something far more complicated. And within Bang Tin's mind, the strange system cheerfully announces the completion of a kiss. Mission, rewarding, points as if this deeply personal moment were nothing more than a task, forcing Bang Tin to confront a painful question. Are these growing feelings real? Or is he simply being pushed forward by a system that treats emotions like a game? Especially when his target, Ko Thua Yuyan, is no ordinary man, but someone he was meant to approach from the very start. 40,000 years ago, when chaos first split apart, the world divided into four powerful races: humans, spirits, immortals, and demons, and ever since, they've been locked in endless conflict, each fighting for dominance. But everything changed 500 years ago, when a mysterious and powerful artifact known as the Chaos Spirit Pearl appeared, rumored to hold the power to reshape the balance of the entire world, triggering a massive war as the strongest leaders stepped forward to claim it. Ko Thua Yuyan, the proud crown prince of the human clan; Van Triet, the cold and calculating immortal lord; Lam So Ma, the cunning king of the spirit realm; and Desat, the terrifying ruler of the demon clan, all converging in the spirit domain where fate itself seemed to tremble, while far below, unaware of the storm above, a greedy old cultivator secretly celebrates as he steals a precious pill, proving that even in the middle of a world-changing battle, smaller ambitions and hidden schemes are already quietly setting the stage for what's to come. The moment the battle for the Chaos Spirit Pearl intensifies, the story suddenly shifts to a darker truth. Far away from the battlefield, Bang Tin, the fragile clam spirit, is captured and chained by a greedy cultivator who sees him not as a person, but as the perfect vessel, calmly revealing his cruel plan to use Bang Tin's body as a container for power and throw him into a furnace once the timing is right, while Bang Tin, terrified and powerless, struggles and begs as the man forcefully feeds him a strange pill, causing his body to react violently as pain spreads through him. At the same time, high above, the four rulers, Ko Thua Yuyan, Van Triet, Lam So Ma, and Desat, clash over the Chaos Spirit Pearl, their overwhelming power cracking its surface as tension rises, with some realizing that if they continue, the pearl will shatter completely. Yet greed and distrust refuse to let anyone back down. And just as the situation spirals out of control, the pearl begins to break apart, shaking the entire realm, forcing even the greedy cultivator below to panic as he realizes Everything is about to collapse, setting the stage for a chaotic turn of fate that will change everything. Just when everything seems lost, Bang Tin's body suddenly begins to glow, strange colored energies swirling around him as even the old cultivator freezes in shock, unable to understand what's happening, while Bang Tin himself feels like he's drifting between consciousness and something deeper, hearing a gentle voice calling him child and promising protection. But before he can understand, everything fades into light, and then, 500 years later, he wakes up confused and disoriented, with no memory of who he is, only to be greeted by a tiny, floating, chibi-like figure who urgently tells him to stay calm. Still dazed, Bang Tin questions everything, even asking who this mother voice was, as the small figure introduces itself as a system designed to help him, explaining that his body now carries the combined bloodlines of the four great rulers. And because of that overwhelming power clash, he lost his memories. But there's still hope. If he completes missions and earns points, he can slowly recover what he lost. As Bang Tin tries to process this, the system reveals the bigger truth. After the Chaos Spirit Pearl, shattered 500 years ago, the balance of the world collapsed. Conflicts between the four races grew worse, and even their rulers began to fall into corruption, their bloodlines turning unstable, leaving Bang Tin as the only one capable of saving them, which leaves him stunned as he repeats the word save, still unsure of his role, until he finally asks what he needs to do. And with a cheerful yet determined tone, the system explains that he'll be sent into different identities across the four kingdoms, completing missions step by step to restore balance and recover his memories, marking the true beginning of his journey. The system's voice echoes calmly as Bang Tin floats in a stream of energy, explaining that if he completes specific missions and reduces the corruption within each realm, he will gradually regain his lost memories. And as that promise settles in, his eyes slowly open, only to find himself waking up in a completely different place, the human realm, inside what looks like an official residence, confused and disoriented as he tries to understand where he is and who he has become. Moments later, he realizes he has taken on a new identity, the son of a powerful official named Tam Kim. But before he can even process it, a man suddenly grabs him by the neck, accusing him of trying to run away, his tone cold and threatening as he forces Bang Tin to listen carefully, warning him that if he doesn't follow orders tonight, both he and his mother will face serious consequences, and then reveals the mission he must approach, Ko Thua Yuyan, and carry out a dangerous task to get close to him, leaving Bang Tin shaken, trapped between fear and confusion as his new life begins with pressure, secrets, and a mission he doesn't fully understand. Under strict orders, Bang Tin is quickly escorted away, being told he's to be taken to the Crown Prince's palace. And despite his confusion and fear, he has no choice but to comply as he's dragged along, stumbling and struggling to keep up, until he's finally pushed inside and left alone. Still disoriented, he calls out weakly, trying to steady himself, but then a small, familiar voice appears, the system, cheerfully announcing its return, and telling him not to panic, even as Bang Tin notices someone lying on the bed in front of him, making the situation even more tense and unclear. The system then begins explaining the truth about his current identity, revealing that he is the illegitimate son of a powerful official, and the man who threatened him earlier is actually his older brother, someone dangerous and manipulative. And tonight's plan is a setup. He's being forced to approach the Crown Prince, Ko Thua Yuyan, in order to frame him and cause trouble, turning Bang Tin into nothing more than a pawn in a political scheme. As the system continues, it warns that according to the original storyline, no matter what he does, things will go badly for him, and he could end up punished or even lose his life under false accusations, which shocks Bang Tin, making him realize just how serious his situation is. However, the system quickly shifts tone, urging him not to give up and instead take control of his fate, suggesting that before anything else, he should carefully check the condition of the Crown Prince and understand the situation on his own terms, giving Bang Tin a small but crucial sense of direction as he prepares to make his next move in a world full of danger and hidden agendas. As Bang Tin finally gets a clear look at the man lying before him, He realizes this is none other than the Crown Prince, Ko Thua Yuyan, the very target of his mission, and he quickly understands that everything happening right now is part of the system's task. But before he can act, the system reveals a shocking truth. This prince isn't just any royal. He carries a powerful bloodline, connected to an ancient lineage from 500 years ago, yet his life has been anything but noble, as the current empress eliminated his mother, leaving him isolated and unloved by the emperor since childhood. Despite having some family support behind him, his life has been filled with danger, constant schemes, and survival under pressure, where even a single mistake could lead to imprisonment or worse. And the system warns that if tonight's conspiracy succeeds, it won't just ruin him. It could push him completely into darkness, and even lead the entire world toward destruction. Hearing this, Bang Tin hesitates, looking at the unconscious prince with sympathy, noticing the pain and exhaustion on his face, realizing he's not a villain but a victim of circumstances. But just as he's caught in this emotional conflict, the situation suddenly flips. The Crown Prince's eyes snap open, sharp and alert, and before Bang Tin can react, he's pulled down and pinned, their positions reversed in an instant, leaving Bang Tin shocked and flustered as the prince, now fully conscious, stares at him with suspicion and asks what exactly he thinks he's doing, turning the entire plan into an unpredictable and dangerous encounter. The situation turns intense as the Crown Prince firmly grabs Bang Tin's wrist, his sharp gaze filled with suspicion, as if he already knows this isn't just a coincidence, accusing him of pretending to be innocent and questioning whether someone sent him, while Bang Tin, completely flustered, tries to deny everything and explain that this isn't what it looks like. But the prince doesn't seem convinced and pulls him even closer, making the moment even more tense and confusing. In his panic, Bang Tin's thoughts spiral as he struggles to understand what's happening and how things got so out of control. But before he can react properly, he quickly blurts out that he came to help, trying to sound sincere despite the awkward situation. And just as the tension peaks, the doors suddenly burst open and several officials rush in, instantly turning the private moment into a public scene. Without giving anyone time to explain, they begin accusing Bang Tin of inappropriate behavior and disrespect toward the Crown Prince, clearly pushing the narrative they were planning all along. While the prince quickly regains his composure, pulling away and covering Bang Tin to avoid further escalation, silently realizing that this is a setup meant to ruin his reputation. As the accusations grow louder, the plan becomes obvious. If this situation is accepted as truth, the Crown Prince will be blamed, his name tarnished, and he could lose his position, allowing someone else to take his place. And Bang Tin, caught in the middle of this carefully planned trap, clenches his fist, realizing that one wrong move now could destroy both of their futures. As the chaos settles, Crown Prince Ko Thua Yuyan suddenly pauses, his expression shifting as he realizes something strange. He can clearly hear Bang Tin's inner thoughts, even though Bang Tin hasn't said a word, making him question what kind of ability this is. But before he can fully process it, he snaps back to reality and coldly stops one of the officials from touching Bang Tin, his voice sharp and protective as he warns them to keep their distance, showing that despite the accusations, he's not willing to let anyone harm him. Meanwhile, Bang Tin lies there weak and overwhelmed, barely able to move, while inside his mind he realizes just how dangerous this situation is and how easily everything could collapse if the Crown Prince were not strong enough to handle it. And right on cue, the pressure increases as an older minister, Lord Lu Thuan, Thursday, steps forward with a calculated look, subtly pushing the narrative that something improper has happened, while another man, introduced as Tamda, nervously reveals a jade token found at the scene, instantly making everyone assume that Bang Tin is connected, and that this is proof of wrongdoing, causing whispers to spread as people begin questioning the Crown Prince's reputation and even his future marriage, suggesting that someone like him shouldn't be involved in such a scandal. However, instead of reacting emotionally, Ko Thua Yuyan remains calm and observant, silently analyzing the situation and recalling that this entire setup is part of a bigger political trap designed by Lu Thuan, Thursday, to create evidence and report it to the emperor, ultimately stripping him of his position And while the officials continue to pressure him, even proposing to verify the situation in a humiliating way to prove his innocence, the crown prince refuses to be provoked. Staying composed as Bang Tin, still lying beside him, continues to think through the situation, realizing that Lu Thuong Thursday is not only manipulative in court, but also has personal scandals of his own, which could become a key weakness later. And in that tense moment, with everyone watching and waiting for the crown prince to break, the real battle shifts from physical confrontation to a silent war of intelligence and control. As the tension in the room keeps rising, Bang Tin, still weak but thinking fast, suddenly realizes he needs a way to turn the situation around and get rid of Lord Lu Thuong Thursday, deciding that instead of panicking, he'll take control of the narrative. But before he can act, Crown Prince Ko Thua Yuyan looks at him with a faint, curious smile, clearly aware that Bang Tin is planning something and silently watching to see what he'll do next. Meanwhile, Lord Lu Thuong Thursday continues to pressure the Crown Prince, insisting that he must give an explanation in front of all the officials, even pretending to help, while actually pushing him deeper into the trap. But suddenly, the focus shifts when another official, General Quan Dainan, notices something unusual on the ground and picks up a crumpled piece of paper, questioning what it is. And the moment he reads it, his expression changes instantly as shock takes over, because the contents expose a completely different scandal, revealing that Lord Lu Thuong Thursday's own household is involved in a secret affair with someone named Trang Nguyen, completely flipping the situation. Unable to believe it, Quang Dainan panics and tries to process what he's seeing, while Ko Thua Yuyan calmly steps in with a composed yet slightly amused expression, subtly calling out Quang Dainan's reaction, which only makes things more uncomfortable. And realizing the situation has spiraled out of control, Quang Dainan hurriedly tries to excuse himself and leave. But Lord Lu Thuong Thursday, now visibly shaken, mutters in frustration, sensing that his carefully planned scheme is falling apart. At the same time, inside Bang Tin's mind, the system suddenly shifts into a comedic tone, joking about how pure his thoughts are while teasing him about his imagination, creating a strange contrast to the serious situation outside, but quickly refocuses on the mission, reminding him that unless Ko Thua Yuyan's favorability increases, they won't be able to earn points or obtain the necessary tools to progress, which catches the Crown Prince's attention again since he can hear everything, making him even more intrigued by Bang Tin, as he quietly repeats the words points and tools in his mind, realizing that there's something far more mysterious about this seemingly fragile boy than anyone in the room could possibly imagine. As the situation hangs on a knife's edge, Bang Tin suddenly hears the system's cheerful notification he's gained points, just enough to unlock a basic item. And while he's confused since he feels like he hasn't done anything yet, he quickly suspects that everything going wrong for Tam Tin Min, his scheming brother, is actually working in his favor. And right on cue, Crown Prince Ko Thua Yuyan coldly calls out Tam Tin Min, demanding he step forward, exposing that the plan is already falling apart. Meanwhile, Bang Tin, thinking fast, decides to gamble everything on the system shop, noticing he can afford a transformation pill, and without hesitation, he uses it instantly, triggering a dramatic change as his body transforms into the appearance of a delicate palace maid, shocking everyone in the room as he goes from being a supposed suspect to someone completely different. The officials, including Lord Lu Thuong Thursday, are stunned and quickly realize that this changes everything. Because if Bang Tin is actually a palace maid, then the original accusation makes no sense, forcing them to reconsider the entire setup, while Ko Thua Yuyan remains calm but sharp, immediately taking control of the situation and questioning how a mere palace maid could end up here without proper authorization, subtly turning the pressure back onto the officials. At the same time, Lu Thuong Thursday tries to maintain authority, implying that even bringing a palace maid into the Crown Prince's chamber requires official approval. But the power dynamic has already shifted, and for the first time, he sounds uncertain, while Bang Tin, now in disguise, sits there nervously, still shaken but realizing that this unexpected move might have just saved both him and the Crown Prince. as the entire narrative flips and the trap begins collapsing, right in front of everyone's eyes. As the room falls into a tense silence, Crown Prince Ko Thua Yuyin takes full control, coldly questioning the situation and making it clear that even if Bang Tin, now disguised as a palace maid, was brought into his chamber, it would still require proper authority, instantly shifting pressure onto Lord Lu Thuong Thursday, who stiffens under that gaze and carefully backs down, saying he wouldn't dare offend the Crown Prince. Realizing the tide has completely turned, Ko Thua Yin calmly dismisses everyone, ordering them to leave, and one by one, the officials bow and retreat, their earlier confidence completely gone, while Bang Tin watches in relief, thinking how lucky he was to use the transformation in time because otherwise everything would have been over for him. But just as things seem to settle, Ko Thua Yin's expression darkens slightly as he steps closer, his sharp eyes narrowing with suspicion, clearly not fully convinced, quietly wondering what exactly this transformation ability is and how. Bang Tin knows so much, especially since he seems aware of things he shouldn't be. And as he leans in, the atmosphere becomes heavy again, his presence overwhelming as he warns that if any secrets about him were to leak out, the consequences would be serious. At that exact moment, a system alert flashes in Bang Tin's mind. Favorability decreased by 2, shocking him because he thought he was helping, not making things worse, leaving him confused and slightly panicked as he questions what he did wrong and why. While the Crown Prince, now visibly irritated, calls him out for speaking too casually and grabs him by the collar, demanding the truth about who he really is. His grip firm but controlled, pushing Bang Tin into a corner where he has no choice but to respond. Flustered and out of breath, Bang Tin tries to play his role, nervously insisting he's just a palace maid and asking to be released because he can't breathe, his face flushed from both fear and pressure. And for a brief moment, Ko Thua Yin hesitates, noticing his reaction and feeling a strange, unfamiliar emotion stirring within him, as the scene ends with both of them caught in a delicate balance, one hiding the truth, and the other getting dangerously close to uncovering it.